Well, get cracking then. Welcome to the grand final of Tier 1 of the OQL's Pop Culture Challenge. 9 long weeks ago, 320 quizzes entered the PCC, facing questions on subjects from film to fashion, from sport to sci-fi, from rap to recipes, from board games to breweries. After 6 weeks of competition, the 16 with the best records ended up in Tier 1. In the quarterfinals, those 16 were whittled down to 8, and last week, those 8 became the 4 you see here tonight. But who are they? In Seat 1, is a man who's played every game this season in OQL, averaging just under 6 twos per game and helping to lead the Dartologists to 4th place in OQL Division 1, their highest ever position. He was narrowly defeated in the grand final of PCC 4, and in Season 5 has led the entire competition on film with an amazing strike rate of 92%. He ended the regular season with the second most own gets and the most correct answers out of everyone. He won the OQL speed quizzing event, and he's the youngest ever Mastermind champion. Please welcome Jonathan Gibson. In Seat 2 is a player making only her second appearance in PCC, but going all the way to the Tier 1 final. She finished the regular season in 15th place with 4 wins out of 6. She has strong stats right across the board, but has led the league in the free choice category, so anything a bit quirky is likely to be right up her street. She's a counterpoint champion and a finalist on both Brain and Britain and Mastermind. Please welcome Frankie Fanko.
Divas, queens, we don't need no man. We're everywhere, warriors, your country needs you. If you're ready, ladies, make it steady, ready. Aim, show you that mission on a mission. Now we'll hit you with the truth. Representing all the women. Salute, salute. It's who we are. We don't need no hellfire.
And in Seat 3, we have a man whose Mimir abilities need no introduction. He's a multiple champion in Mimir as well. He's won the Brain of Online Quiz League. He won a speed quizzing event in York and the OQL individual written event in March. He finished 5th in the standings this season, but 2nd to Jonathan on total correct answers. He plays for Mangoes in Division 1 of OQL, with whom he won OQL Season 7. And he's the current International Culture Challenge champion. Can make a double by adding the Pop Culture Challenge title to his list of incredible achievements. Please give it up for Evan Lynch. And last but by no means four, one of only a handful of players to make Tier 1 in all 5 seasons of PCC. Somehow this is his first appearance in the grand final. He's one of the top quizzers on video games in the league with an 88% strike rate, and he finished the regular season in 3rd place with both points and own gets. He currently plies his trade with disparate origins in OQL. Please welcome Matt Williams. So, those are the players, but just before we get started, a word of thanks. Firstly, a huge thank you from everyone at OQL to the question setting team. It's no mean feat to have put together 770 questions over the course of the season, from the stupendously simple to the horrifically hardcore, and to keep those questions varied and interesting. And as always, a massive thank you to all of those who've given of their time as readers. AI has not yet taken over the world of the Mimir, so we do still need readers. I know the players and management are incredibly grateful to readers for all that they do. A particular thanks this season and a shout out to those readers who've hosted 20 or more matches this season. So thank you to Michael McPartland, to James Davidson, to Andy Crane, to Dave Turnbull, Kimberly Debus, Chris Miller, Ian H. something, Steve Childs, Bob X. Haar, Harry Shaw, and Jack Karimi. It's not a competition, Jack, but you did read more games than anyone else. Apologies there to anyone whose name I totally mangled. They didn't give me a pronunciation guide. Thank you to Will for the tech and for these jazzy slides. Thank you to Dave Gregson for collating the match reports and to Mike Olson for his weekly stats updates. And of course, a huge thanks to Aidan for being behind the Pop Culture Challenge. And finally, a huge thank you to each and every one of the 320 players who between you gave over 33,000 correct answers. Without your enthusiasm and goodwill, this competition could not happen. But there's been enough talking. It's time for the main event, the PCC Tier 1 final of Season 5. So I will share the scorer. Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Great. The rules for the final are exactly the same as the rules throughout the season. You have 30 seconds on your own questions, and you have 3 seconds as they come down the line as bonuses. Please keep your hands on screen at all time, and please do feel free to police this yourselves, because I'm going to be looking at the questions much more than I'm going to be looking at your hands. So if everyone's ready, then best of luck to one and all.
Good luck.
Yep,
Good luck, everyone.
And we begin the final of Season 5 of the Pop Culture Challenge with question 1 to Jonathan. Which 2006 film was an English language remake of the 2002 Hong Kong film Infernal Affairs? Events in this film were loosely based on the story of Boston's Winter Hill Gang.
The Departed.
The Departed is right. The Clean Up TV campaign was launched in January 1964 by Nora Buckland and which other British activist, whose name would later become a byword for Christian conservatism in the UK?
Whitehouse.
It is Mary Whitehouse, yes. Missing, which became a massive hit when remixed in 1995 by Todd Terry, was a song by which musical duo? Formed by Tracy Thorn and Ben Watt in 1983, they took their name from a slogan used by a Hull furniture shop.
Everything But the Girl.
It is Everything But the Girl. Frankie, your questions. Who has composed the scores to all but 5 of the 34 movies that Steven Spielberg has directed? With 53 nods, this man is the second most Oscar-nominated individual in history, behind only Walt Disney. He notably also wrote the memorable themes for Star Wars and Harry Potter.
Williams.
That is John Williams, yes. Amongst the PlayStation 2's launch titles was the console version of which Tekken spin-off game, sometimes abbreviated to TTT. This compilation of the first 3 Tekken titles allowed you to play as any 2 of the characters from the series and contained a Tekken bowling minigame.
Pass.
Okay, Evan.
I'll pass.
Okay, Matt.
No, pass.
And Jonathan.
Pass.
This was called Tekken Tag Tournament. Frankie, your third question. Henry Dimbleby, John Vincent, and chef Allegra McEvedy were the founders of which chain of UK fast food restaurants named for Vincent's father? Noted for healthy recipes, their slogan is naturally fast food.
Leon.
It is Leon, yes. Evan, your questions. Lord Beginner's song Victory Calypso was inspired by the West Indies' second Test victory against England at Lord's in 1950. In it, he described which batsman, who scored an unbeaten 168 in the second innings, as having licked England around. This Barbadian was the youngest of the 3 Ws and went on to chair the International Cricket Council. Ten seconds.
Weeks.
It is not. Matt.
Pass.
And Jonathan.
Wobble.
It's not. Frankie.
Walcott.
It is Clyde Walcott, yes. Evan, your second question. Which member of the YouTube group Beta Squad, whose real name is Amin Mohammed, was named Media Personality of the Year at the 2020 Mobo Awards? This Arsenal fan, whose most popular YouTube videos include prank calls and forfeit quizzes, has become a familiar face at Soccer Aid, where he missed a penalty for England in 2020.
Chunks.
It is Chunks, yes. And your third question. In which Irving Berlin song, written for the musical Holiday Inn in 1942, does the singer dream of the titular seasonal occasion where the treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow?
White Christmas.
White Christmas is right. Matt. Sex and the City stylist Patricia Field has been the fashion consultant on several other TV series. One of these was which 2006 US sitcom based on a Colombian telenovela. It starred America Ferrera as the title character, who goes from inexperienced PA to the editor of Mode magazine.
Ugly Betty.
It is Ugly Betty. Which American media company publishes Vogue? Anna Wintour is the artistic director and global chief content officer of this company, which also publishes GQ, The New Yorker, and its namesake Traveller magazine.
Condé Nast.
Condé Nast is right. And last question of the round. Which British band's UK #1 albums during the 2000s include Yours Truly Angry Mob and Education, Education and War? An early top 10 for this band was Every Day I Love You Less and Less.
Kaiser Chiefs.
It is the Kaiser Chiefs. So at the end of round one, Jonathan, Frankie, and Matt have 3 points each. Evan has 2. Evan and Matt yet to use a bonus attempt. Frankie and Jonathan have used 1 apiece. Round 2, questions to Jonathan. Who played Superman in the 1978 movie name, going on to reprise the role in its 3 sequels? He was paralyzed in a 1995 horse riding accident and died in 2002.
Reeve.
It is Christopher Reeve, yes. Which German composer, twice an Oscar winner for his scores for The Lion King and Dune, frequently collaborates with director Christopher Nolan? As well as writing the music for Gladiator and the Pirates of the Caribbean series, he created the theme tune to classic 90s game show Going for Gold.
Zimmer.
It is Hans Zimmer, yes. A member of YouTube's Beta Squad alongside Chunks, which person finished 5th in the 2021 London mayoral election, getting just under 50,000 votes? He is best known for his large-scale pranks, such as creating fake versions of McDonald's and the Apple Store. First name or surname acceptable.
Nico.
It is Nico Omilana, yes. Frankie. Only Fools and Horses provided us with several memorable characters who only appeared in a single episode. One of these is which man, who is found in the back of Denzel's lorry during the episode Strangers on the Shore? You may give the name which he is given by Dylan Rodney or his real name.
Bob.
It's not. Evan.
Pass.
And Matt.
Pass.
And Jonathan.
Pass.
So they called him Gary, but his real name was Rashid Mamoon. Frankie, your second question. Which 2001 film was an English language remake of the 1997 Spanish film Open Your Eyes? Both films involve a protagonist who is involved in a car crash that leaves them with extreme facial disfigurement, and later discover that they have been in cryogenic suspension for 150 years.
No, pass.
Okay. Evan.
Vanilla Sky.
It is Vanilla Sky, yes. And Frankie, your next question. In which Irving Berlin song, written for the musical Follow the Fleet in 1936, does the singer exhort the listener to perform the titular action while there's moonlight and music and love and romance?
Let's face the music and dance.
Absolutely right, yes. Evan, your questions. Britain's most successful Paralympian is which dual sport athlete? She won swimming medals at both the Barcelona and Atlanta Games before moving into cycling, where she has won gold medals at every Games since Beijing in 2008.
Story.
It is Sarah Story, yes. Patricia Field is the stylist for which Netflix drama, in which Lily Collins plays a young American advertising executive who experiences a culture shock on being seconded to Savoir, a French marketing company?
Emily in Paris.
It is Emily in Paris, yes. Among the many things Mary Whitehouse objected to was coverage of wars on TV. In 1966, she complained that which current affairs programme had broadcast Richard Dimbleby's coverage of the liberation of Belsen concentration camp, calling it filth that was bound to shock and offend. Ten seconds.
Newsnight.
It's not. Matt.
Panorama.
It is Panorama, yes. And Matt, your own questions. Tracy Thorn contributed vocals on the track The Paris Match on the 1984 album Café Bleu, the official debut album of which English band? Formed by Paul Weller after he left The Jam, their biggest hits include You're the Best Thing and My Ever-Changing Moods.
Style Council.
It is the Style Council. The fifth installment of which Namco arcade driving game series, with an alliterative two-word name, was also a launch title for the PS2. This series also provided launch titles for both the PS1 and PS3.
Ridge Racer.
It is Ridge Racer, yes. And last question of round two. 2005 MasterChef champion Thomasina Myers is the co-founder of which UK restaurant group that specialises in selling Mexican-style street food?
Oaxaca.
Oaxaca is correct and means that with 2 rounds down, Matt has 7, Jonathan has 6, Evan 5 and Frankie 4. Everyone's used a bonus attempt. And we move into round 3 and questions to Jonathan. Patricia Field was a fashion consultant on the 2008 US remake of which Australian sitcom? Molly Shannon and Selma Blair starred as an uncouth mother and daughter duo in roles originally played by Jane Turner and Gina Riley.
No, pass.
Okay, Frankie.
Kath and Kim.
It is Kath and Kim, yes. In the Only Fools and Horses episode The Jolly Boys Outing, what is the stage name of the magician who forms a double act and lives with Raquel in Margate? A misunderstanding towards the end of the episode leads to Del Boy throwing this character's belongings out of a window.
Pass.
Okay, Evan.
Pass.
And Matt.
Pass.
And Frankie.
Pass.
This is The Great Raymondo. Jonathan, your third question. In Lord Beginner's Victory Calypso, he describes how the West Indies batting collapsed quite easily after the dismissal of Robert Christiani by which Surrey fast bowler. This player, whose brother also played the game, held the world record for most Test wickets from 1953 until surpassed by Brian Statham 10 years later? Ten seconds.
Booman.
It's not. Evan.
Pass.
And Matt.
Pass.
And Frankie.
Pass.
This is Alec Bedser. Frankie, your questions. A contributor for British Vogue since 2009, which model, fashion designer, and influencer co-presented the Netflix TV series Next in Fashion in 2020? Mulberry have named a handbag after this person, who remains best friends with her ex-partner Alex Turner of Arctic Monkeys.
Chung?
It is Alexa Chung, yes. Who played Lex Luthor in the 1978 movie Superman and two of its sequels? His two acting Academy Awards, received for roles in The French Connection and Unforgiven, came 20 years apart.
Hackman?
It is Gene Hackman. Tracy Thorn co-wrote and provided vocals for which Massive Attack hit single of 1995? This track gave its title to Massive Attack's second album, released in 1994. Ten seconds.
Unfinished Sympathy?
It's not. Evan.
Pass.
And Matt.
No, pass.
And Jonathan.
Mezzanine.
It's not, I'm afraid. It is Protection.
Oh dear.
Evan. Which 2020 film was an English language remake of the 2014 Ruben Östlund black comedy Force Majeure? Will Ferrell and Julia Louis-Dreyfus play a married couple whose relationship takes a nasty turn during a skiing trip, when Ferrell's character abandons his family during an avalanche.
Downhill.
It is Downhill. Another PlayStation 2 launch title was the first in which first-person shooter series, developed by Free Radical Design. Noted for its sense of humor and a more stylized design than its forebears, the most recent game in the series was its third installment, Future Perfect, in 2005. Ten seconds.
Kane and Lynch.
It's not. Matt.
No, pass.
Okay, Jonathan.
Pass.
And Frankie.
Pass.
This is Time Splitters. Evan, your third question. Empire and West Ryder Pauper Lunatic Asylum were UK #1 albums during the 2000s for which British band? Their most successful single was the 2009 top 3 hit Fire.
Kasabian.
It is Kasabian. Matt, your questions. Which non-Beta Squad YouTuber is Chunks' regular comedic partner, including in the most popular episode of Amelia de Moldenberg's Chicken Shop Date series? This man has also presented several series for the BBC, including co-hosting a spin-off show from Freeze the Fear with Wim Hof alongside comedian Munya Chihuahua.
No, pass.
Okay, Evan.
Young Philly.
It is young Philly, yes. Matt, another Olympic champion with dual sport ambitions, which British cyclist followed gold medals in Beijing and London by launching a career as an amateur jockey? Her horse racing highlight was taking Pasha du Polder to 5th place in the Fox Hunters Chase at the Cheltenham Festival.
Pendleton.
It is Victoria Pendleton. And the last question of the round. In 1972, one of Mary Whitehouse's campaigns led to the song School's Out being blocked from Top of the Pops. It was performed by which artist, who sent her a bouquet of flowers thanking her for the publicity when it topped the chart?
Alice Cooper.
That is Alice Cooper, which means that after round 3, Matt has 9, Evan has 8, Frankie has 7, and Jonathan has 6. Matt has only used 1 bonus attempt. The other 3 players have used 2 apiece. And on to round 4, question 1 to Jonathan. Which Ghanaian-born man succeeded Alexandra Schulman as editor of British Vogue in 2017, and in 2022 published his memoir, A Visible Man? Under his editorship, cover stars of British Vogue have become notably more diverse.
Enninful.
It is Edward Enninful, yes. Erin Ellie and Ajith Jayawikrama were the founders of which casual dining restaurant, which specializes in food from countries such as Brazil and Argentina and encourages diners to celebrate the flavors of Latin America?
Las Iguanas.
It is Las Iguanas, yes. Taking gold medals in 2 different sports at the same games, which Paralympian won an athletics gold in the T38 400 meters in Rio, followed by victory in the C4 and 5 cycling time trial? She would win 2 further golds at the Tokyo Games, but only in cycling this time.
Cockcroft.
It's not. Matt.
Cox.
It is Kadena Cox. Frankie, your questions. After Mary Whitehouse won a libel suit against writer Johnny Spate, Spate depicted Alf Garnett reading her book and agreeing with her views in which sitcom? The later sequel to this show was In Sickness and in Health.
Till Death Us Do Part.
Absolutely right, yes. I mean, Till Death Do Us Part, but I'm absolutely allowed to accept Till Death Us Do Part. In the chorus of Lord Beginner's Victory Calypso, which 2 young bowlers did Beginner describe as those 2 little pals of mine? They ended up taking 59 wickets between them over the series and are still remembered as a formidable double act.
Worrell and Weeks.
It's not. Evan.
Pass.
And Matt.
Pass.
And Jonathan.
Pass.
No, this is Sonny Ramadin and Alf Valentine. Frankie, your 3rd question. The last broadcast and Some Cities were UK chart-topping albums during the 2000s for which Manchester band? Their most successful single was 2002's There Goes the Fear.
Charlatans.
It's not. Evan.
Pass.
Okay, Matt.
Pass.
And Jonathan.
Doves.
It is the Doves, yes. Evan, your questions. Which composer, an Oscar winner for the score to the film Titanic, was known for his work with James Cameron, including on the film Avatar? This man, who died in a helicopter crash in 2015, received a total of 10 Oscar nominations during his lifetime, including one for his score for A Beautiful Mind.
Horner.
It is James Horner, yes. Everything But the Girl had a UK #3 hit single in 1988 with which song? It had previously been a UK #1 hit for Rod Stewart in 1977, when it was released as a double A-side with The First Cut is the Deepest. Ten seconds.
Pass.
Okay, Matt.
Pass.
And Frankie
I don't want to talk about it.
is the right answer. Evan, your third question. Who played Superman's father, Jor-El, in the 1978 movie Superman? This actor, who would play Colonel Kurtz in Apocalypse Now the following year, was paid almost $4 million for 2 weeks' work, but refused permission for the footage to be reused in the original version of Superman 2.
Brando.
It is Marlon Brando, yes. And Matt, your questions. In which Irving Berlin song, written for the musical Annie Get Your Gun in 1946, does the singer claim that everything about the titular industry is appealing, everything that traffic will allow? Nowhere could you get that happy feeling when you are stealing that extra bow.
There's no business like show business.
Is the right answer. Which 2017 film was an English language remake of the 2011 French film Intouchable? Both concern a rich quadriplegic man who has lost the will to live, and his caregiver, a recently paroled prisoner. Bryan Cranston and Kevin Hart play the roles in this remake.
Invincible.
It's not. Evan.
Pass.
Okay. Jonathan.
Pass.
And Frankie.
Pass.
This is The Upside. And question 3, Matt. In the Only Fools and Horses episode Stage Fright, what is the name of the singer who Del Boy hires to perform a duet with Raquel at the Starlight Rooms? The performance goes down embarrassingly when it transpires this character is unable to pronounce the letter R. Forename or surname is acceptable.
Mario.
It is not. Evan.
Pass.
And Jonathan.
Pass.
And Frankie.
Pass.
This is Tony Angelino. So that means with 1 round to go, Matt has the lead with 11, Evan just behind with 10, and both Jonathan and Frankie have 9. Evan and Matt, 2 bonus attempts each. Jonathan and Frankie, 3 bonus attempts each. Round 5. Question to Jonathan. Another PS2 launch title was which winter sports game? The first in a series that would have installments subtitled Blur, On Tour, and Tricky.
Shaun White, Pro Snowboarder.
It's not that. Evan.
SSX.
SSX is absolutely right. In which Irving Berlin song, written for a musical of the same name of 1930, does the singer advise, if you're blue and you don't know where to go to, why don't you go where fashion sits?
But none of it.
But none of it is right. And your third song. question even. Which British band had 2 UK chart-topping albums during the 2000s, with Out of Nothing and This New Day? Their most successful singles include World at Your Feet, the official England song for the 2006 FIFA World Cup, and Gravity.
Embrace?
It is Embrace, yes. Frankie. Which British sportswoman won a silver medal at the 2004 Athens Olympics in the quadruple sculls rowing? She followed this with a cycling gold medal just 4 years later in Beijing, winning the individual pursuit.
Romero.
It is Rebecca Romero, yes. Some of Chunk's and Philly's most popular videos were made as part of which YouTube speed dating competition, where they appeared across 5 seasons alongside the likes of KSI, Harry Pinero, and Conan. The show's name is a reference to its sponsor, sportswear retailer Foot Asylum.
Playing footsie.
It's not that. Matt.
Pass.
And Evan.
Pass.
And Jonathan.
Pass.
This was called Does the Shoe Fit?
Oh.
And Frankie, your third question. Patricia Field was brought in as the stylist on a 2018 revival of which comedy drama? Originally running from 1988 to 98, it featured Candice Bergen in the title role of a TV anchor woman on a fictional CBS News magazine. Ten seconds.
Kashmir Jungle.
It's not. Matt.
Pass.
And Evan.
Pass.
And Jonathan.
Murphy Brown?
It is Murphy Brown, yes. Evan, your questions. Known for his trademark flamboyant caftans and capes and his advocacy for diversity, which late stylist was the first African-American male creative director of US Vogue, later acting as an editor-at-large between 1998 and 2013?
Andre Leon Talley.
It is Andre Leon Talley, yes. In 2009, Las Iguanas founder Ajit Wikrema left the company to start which Caribbean-themed casual dining chain? Noted for their bottomless brunches, they use the slogan "Rum, Reggae and Jerk." Ten seconds.
Pass.
Okay. Matt.
Turtle Bay.
It is Turtle Bay, yes.
Very good.
And Evan, your third question. In the Only Fools and Horses episode, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?, which ex-business partner and old friend of Del Boy's makes his only appearance in the show? Since emigrating to Australia in the 60s, this character had built up a huge used car business. Forename or surname is acceptable.
Freddie.
It's not. Matt.
Harry.
It's not. Frankie.
Dave.
It's not. Jonathan.
I'll just pass.
Okay. The answer is, and none of you are particularly close, Jumbo Mills. Questions to Matt. Beating more than 100 other actresses to the role, who played Lois Lane in the 1976 movie Superman and its 3 sequels. In the 1990s, she suffered highly publicized mental health issues. Though she subsequently rebuilt her life and career, she died from an overdose in 2018.
Kidder.
It is Margot Kidder, yes. In Lord Beginner's Victory Calypso, he described West Indies voices all blended, after which Englishman's second innings century had ended. This Lancashire batsman opened the batting with Len Hutton on 51 occasions, and their partnership of 359 against South Africa in 1948 remains England's highest first-wicket partnership. Ten seconds.
Johnson.
It's not. Evan.
Sutcliffe.
It's not. Jonathan.
Pass.
And Frankie.
Pass.
Okay, this is Cyril Washbrook.
Okay.
And Matt, your last question. What is the surname of the father and son duo of film composers, of whom the father is the most successful individual in the history of the Best Original Score Oscar, winning 9 awards, including for Camelot and The King and I? His son has been nominated 15 times for the same award without a win, for films such as The Shawshank Redemption, American Beauty, and Skyfall.
Shaw.
It's not. Jonathan.
Newman.
It is Alfred and Thomas Newman, which means at the end of the quiz, Frankie finishes in 4th place, Evan finishes in 3rd place with 12, but we have a tie for the lead between Jonathan and Matt.
Again. I played, yeah. After how badly I played the bonus game there, I'm amazed that I managed to make it. Yeah, but what a game.
Which means that the Tier 1 final of Season 5 of the PCC goes to a tiebreak, so I'll stop sharing that. And I will send Matt away to the waiting room.
Good luck, Jonathan.
Thank you, you too.
Just need a second to get a new score from, timer for my own purposes. Okay, I will paste these questions into the Zoom chat. And again, 30 seconds, I'll give you 10 seconds. Warning, right. Here is the first. Which song gave American pop rock duo Zager and Evans a UK #1 hit single in 1969? This was their only charting hit in the UK. You do not need the bracketed element of the title.
In the year 2525.
Okay, thank you. Second question. What was the forename of the Bristol woman who became a widespread internet meme in 2017 when she responded to news of the upcoming UK general election by saying, "Not another one"?
Brenda.
Okay. And your third question. Often dubbed one of the worst video games of all time, the 2009 game Box Office Bust was the 8th installment in which series? Ten seconds.
Street Fighter.
Okay, thanks very much. I'll pop you into the waiting room.
Right.
And I will bring Matt back from the waiting room to face the same questions. Welcome back, Matt. I'm going to paste these into the Zoom chat. So
Okay, I'm just going to open the chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yep. And as usual, 30 seconds, and I'll give you a 10-second warning if we get that far.
Cool.
Here's the first. Which song gave American pop rock duo Zager and Evans a UK #1 hit single in 1969? This was their only charting hit in the UK. You do not need the bracketed element of the title.
The year 2525.
Okay. And your second question. What was the forename of the Bristol woman who became a widespread internet meme in 2017 when she responded to news of the upcoming UK general election by saying, "Not another one"?
Brenda.
All right. And your third question. Often dubbed one of the worst video games of all time, the 2009 game Box Office Bust was the 8th element in which series?
Leisure Suit Larry.
Thanks very much. Right, we will bring Jonathan back. Welcome back, Jonathan.
Hello.
So this is where we stand. The first question, which song gave American pop rock duo Zager and Evans a UK #1 hit single in 1969? The answer was In the Year 2525, which you both got right. Second question, the forename of the Bristol woman who became a widespread internet meme, not another one. She was called Brenda, which again, you both identified correctly. Which means it's all down to the third question, the video game question, often dubbed one of the worst video games of all time. The 2009 game Box Office Bust was the 8th installment in the Leisure Suit Larry games series, which means that because he gave me that answer correctly, Matt is the champion of the Pop Culture Challenge Season 5 Tier 1. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Matt.
Oh, cheers, guys.
Well,
Thanks
Matt, brilliant.
Good
Well
old Brenda. Oh, thanks a lot. That was such a tight game. Such a tight
I
game.
mean, really could have gone any way all the way through there. Well done, everyone. Brilliant.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks a lot, Ian. Yeah.
No,
Thanks for reading, Ian. Yeah,
it's
really
a
well
privilege
played,
to be
everyone.
involved in a match as good as that. Really, really great. So thank you to those tuning on Twitch. Thank you to those watching on YouTube. Remember that the International Culture Challenge Season 5 begins in May, so sign up for that. And to all of you watching, thanks for watching and good night.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
You don't have to go. We can do more tiebreakers and spares if you like.